So, ahead of AEW's Full Gear, I'm delighted to welcome Darby Allin to my... I said your name wrong, sorry, mate. Ahead of AEW Full Gear this Saturday, I'm delighted to be joined by Darby Allin. Darby, your company recently just celebrated its 1 year anniversary. How has that ride been for you yourself? Because there's been people on the show that we've recognised from other companies and things like that, but you were one of the people that it really felt we were introduced to through AEW. So how has year one been for you?
It's been insane. Everything I've been able to accomplish and all the creative freedom I've been able to have has just been insane to be on national television. It's like shit that I've dreamed of my whole life to do, with the films, the in-ring style, everything, and not to be changed and just be presented in its raw form on national television. You can't beat that.
It's especially brilliant for us to see someone who seems to truly represent alternative culture as well. When you say creative freedom, the first thing I want to talk to you about is your makeup arrangement. So how was the trial and error with coming together with that? And am I right in saying there's a whole lot of Jerry Only, Glenn Danzig influence to your makeup?
Shit, I would say it was something I've always wanted to do as a wrestler, like with the makeup, but it just comes from real life events in the sense of like why I paint my face. But like from the actual skeleton side of things, I would say it's definitely a lot of the Misfits, and just like that whole style. I just like the gritty style of makeup that kids could emulate themselves. You don't need to sit 4 hours in a chair and paint your face, all professional. You could do it yourself. Granted, when you see all the kids doing it for Halloween, it shows that like the crappier you paint your face, the easier it is for people to copy.
When you say it's inspired by real life events, can I ask you to talk a little bit deeper about that?
Well, we're talking about it on the Countdown show to Full Gear. We've never really discussed it on a national level, national TV level thing. When I was 5 years old, my uncle was drunk driving, and I was in the car with him, and he ended up crashing and passing away from that accident. But so in the sense of I paint half my face because half of me feels dead inside, my trust for people, my respect for people. And, to a sense, I feel like that's why I'm such a loner in real life. And I just don't give a shit about people's words because I don't trust anybody. So I'm just here along for the ride of whatever life is.
It's really cool to hear you say that you live an isolated lifestyle, because it really shows that creativity off on screen. The last few weeks, we've seen you isolated, alone, those things. Something that I'm personally grateful to you and your company for is bringing back a style of pro wrestling and a style of characterization more than anything else, where everyone seems believable. Does that make it easier to interact with other people when they have such clear and defined characters and you have such a clear and defined character? Does it make those interactions all the more interesting when you look at the roster and I'd like to work that guy and that guy? When there's a semblance of a future feud, it becomes exciting for fans. Is it just equally as exciting for yourself?
Yeah, because we're not out there playing roles. We're not out there getting scripts handed to us. We're not out there telling how to breathe, how to act, how to walk. We are ourselves 100%. And when you step foot in the ring with somebody that believes in what they're doing 100% as well, magic shit happens.
You'll get no argument from me, man. And when it comes to your personal character development, is it exciting to Well, as a fan of yours, it's exciting that there's so much mystique because it gives an extra longevity. There's so many question marks that surround you. Is that something that that excites you long term as well?
Yeah, but it's also just me in real life. Like I don't go to after parties. I don't hang out with people. It's just there's a lot of mystery to, I guess. Sometimes I just change in the my car in the parking lot. I don't even go in the locker room, and that's not in a sense of me being rude or disrespectful. It's just I got such social anxiety off the charts that I cannot breathe around big, like, small groups of people. So I keep my personal, like, inner circle very small. So
Mm.
I, yeah, I'm here to do business, not to
Did,
befriend everybody.
do you feel kinship with um, art and movies and those kind of things more than you do people?
Absolutely, people suck, man. uh, like when you see like art, whether it's like music, film, whatever it may be, to me, that's that speaks to me as a human being more than actually sitting down and talking to somebody. It's like Henry Rollins once said, he feels more lonely in a room full of crowded people than he does by himself. And that's
Mm.
exactly me to a T. Like when I come to my hotel room and I'm alone in here, I could just unwind and breathe as a human being and just put on like some good film or listen to some music and skate around Jacksonville. That's like my favorite thing to do.
And you're not from Jacksonville, right?
Oh no, we're just here for patience. I'm originally from Seattle, but now I live in Atlanta.
So, so I've got to ask about skateboarding as well. Again, it's quite an isolated thing because it's just you, your board, and whatever surface you're on. When did skateboarding come into your life, and did you ever consider that as a route over pro wrestling?
Well, I was a wrestling fan as a young man back in Seattle, and then once I found a skateboard, found a world where there's no rules. You can do whatever the hell you want, and that's what I wanted to do with my life. Because at the time when I graduated high school, I was 118 pounds, so I thought about doing professional wrestling, but I would like look at the website for the wrestling school down in Seattle, and I'd see these big guys wearing like, they look like jocks wearing like sweatpants and sweatshirts and stuff like that. And I knew if my skinny punk ass walked in there, they'd be like, "Who the hell's this guy with his pink fingernails and everything like that?" So I just took to skateboarding, but I skated. So like, that was like my thing. But then I finally said screw it when I was 21. I said screw it, I want to try this wrestling thing, and if they want to take me as me, that's the only way I'm gonna do it. I ain't gonna change who the hell I am. So fast forward 5.5 years later, I'm here. So it's sick.
It's a wild ride, man. So I've got to ask about Seattle as well because I've been talking to bands from Seattle for 20 years, and I've never been there myself, but I'm from England, and we see nothing but grey skies. And you're from Seattle, and you see nothing but grey skies. Do you think that has an effect on one's character?
Yeah, he had severe depression. Um, I would say I I left Seattle to go to Arizona for a year, and there was just something where I felt so alive in Arizona. But there's also something about Seattle that gives you this like gritty, whatever it is, just I don't know, man. There's a lot of times I sat inside when it was just pouring rain and just daydreamed about who I wanted to be and where I wanted to go. And sometimes that forced downtime is the best. So I would credit Seattle for just like giving me all these crazy ideas to kill in my, boredom and my loneliness. So, and now all those ideas are being presented on national television. So.
I have to ask as well about the the when you say about depression, do you find that having pro wrestling and skating and these other things are the moments where you get the chance to alleviate from that? Do you find escapism a real route away from depression? Like, what are your ways of coping with that kind of thing? Because, like, just speaking from personal experience, I've suffered deeply with that myself, and moments like these where I'm doing my interviews for Knotfest and all those kind of things, like, I feel more comfortable in myself in these moments than I do daily living. Do you find real escapism in the things that you throw yourself into?
Yeah, the crazier I get, the more escape I feel. For example, I jumped off that bridge for a promo, and then when I did that, I was like, "Oh my god, I feel so alive!" And and then I get that. I need that adrenaline rush. I need that. I'll go skydiving. Roll in a body bag with Steve-O. Whatever. Like, there's a lot just stunts. Like, it makes me breathe. Getting reckless is my number one cure for depression. If that makes any, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
it does.
it's like, but yeah, I can't explain it. It just I get bored really easy, and I get sick of people and like things really easy, and I just need to go on like a trip, just spontaneous, and just like I need to just go do something crazy. So.
And something that I find particularly alluring about yourself, Darby, is we represent alternative culture. That's an actual thing, not a sanitized version of alternative culture. With your current storyline going into Full Gear, and it very much feeling like you are the alternative to a cleaner cut future. Do you feel like a representative for alternative music? When you say about Halloween and you see the kinds of people that are doing your makeup, it's presumably people from our culture, outsiders. Do you feel like I don't want to say like a bastion for that, but to a certain extent.
Yeah. The thing with me is, this is me 100%. I don't.
Yeah.
I got this like shit tattooed on my hand. Like, this isn't an act. This isn't like I'm putting on a role. Oh yeah, like punk rock, like, and then all of a sudden I'll just, I'm not using it for a cash grab. Like, this was me my whole life, and to be able to be presented like this, because there's a lot of fake ass motherfucking people out there
For real.
that just put on this like rock and roll thing, even in wrestling, just like, like, yeah, like, this is my life, but then they're just using it as an image. So for me to be on the forefront of the creative freedom and being able to use all my outside influences, bringing them into wrestling, I definitely feel I speak to certain people that may have fell out of love with wrestling way back when.
100%.
Because I've had a lot of friends just from like the skate world that would be like, oh yeah, like, I haven't watched wrestling since like Stone Cold and stuff like that, because there's nobody that speaks to them. So there's only so much a steroided up wrestler dude could speak to someone like you or me. You know what I mean? So they see through the TV that I believe in what I'm doing, and I'm the real deal. So.
Did you have a band that changed your life moment? Where you say you grew up with punk rock, like my life changed when I got into Metallica when I was a kid, which I know is like a marquee band, but no one's first favorite band, the Napalm Death. Like, did you have that moment where there was a band that drew you into the scene? Because I'm someone that even in my own family, I've always felt like an alien. But when I found this music and when I found this scene, well, it's the Rancid song, I've literally got the radio there, because when I got to play the music, I got a place to go. Like, was there that moment for you?
I would say when I found, there's two bands in the sense of actually changing me. One would be Crass, and the other would be
Nice.
Black
Oh,
Flag and
okay.
Crass. Just the world they represented, like that, just hard work ethic with Black Flag, just get in the van and just, you know what I mean? Like that stuff, like to me, like you're going to put your heart and soul into what you're doing, and it's not about the money. You could be sleeping on a floor. And that's what I did just the other day. Before I'm in a nice hotel room right now, but the other
Yeah.
day I got into Jacksonville early, and I spent 2 days sleeping in this car because I like to remind myself of where I came from, and not take anything really for granted. And yeah, it sucked sleeping in there, and I was all jacked up my neck the next day, but it was nice to be back in those shoes of being homeless in a car like I used to be. But crass, just there's no authority but yourself. I take those words and I run with them, because all those, what they stand for, I can't get enough of it.
Mate, have you ever considered? Would you consider going the get in the van route and like, because your industry is so fascinating to me? Like, would you ever consider writing a tome like Rollins did with Get in the Van, which if you're out there and you haven't read it, is the essential look to what it was like being a hardcore band in the 80s?
Yeah, I think about it all the time, just like writing stuff down, and just because it's like trippy because I remember when I first started, Seattle was like the black hole of wrestling. There was no named shows, there was no named wrestlers coming from there. It was all up in like Philly area and everything. So when I would sit and stare at the wall at night and be like, how do I even become anything in this wrestling? And then just to fast forward to now, I to have captured what I was feeling of being so lost. Because like now you almost forget how it feels to be lost because you're on the grind of just every Wednesday, and pay-per-views, and you forget staring at the wall those like long like nights before and just wondering, how is this ever gonna pay off? Is it gonna pay off? So I would definitely like to write some stuff.
And who are the bands that you're into in 2020 then? Because if we're talking Crass and Black Flag, and that becomes part of you once it becomes part of you. But in today's world, what sort of stuff do you listen to from the modern scene?
Modern bands?
Anything even remotely modern, or are you not into that kind of thing? Is your taste more?
I would say Leftover Crack. I like them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Leftover Crack. There's just like a lot of like bands, but I wouldn't. There's just so many. But
yeah,
I do like current stuff, uh, but I feel like every time I go to a show, when I was going to shows, it was always like these like older bands in the sense,
yeah.
TSOL was be like rolling through town, and all of those type bands, like the classics. Like the first ever concert I went to was like Circle Jerks, and that was an awesome experience. And then but just bands like, I don't know, that are still doing it, shit like that.
Are your influences more Rollins, Keith Morris, people like that, than they are the traditional people that you would expect for like a wrestler?
Oh yeah, yeah. Rollins for sure is a huge one because he makes you feel it's okay to be a loner. It's okay. Like he has that poem, that spoken piece called like "I Know You." I don't know if
Yeah,
you've heard it. It's like
I've not. No.
It's like 8 minutes long, but he just talks about how in his mind he's trying to build up the courage to go to a party, and he can't do it. He just he thinks there's something wrong with him because he can't physically just build the courage up to go to a party, and he sees all these people socializing, and he's like, how do they do it? How do they do it? You know, and how it's such a struggle for him inside, and that's me every week. Like every week, that's me. I'm like, is there something like what? I'm like, oh, dude, but yeah, I like definitely all those guys speak to me as just human beings, and it goes beyond their art. It's like their interviews, their spoken words, and everything like that. And a lot of
Yeah.
skaters too speak to me. Just like listening to like skaters talk and their like how they just live this like free life. There's no one they have to answer to. Very outlaw. I like it.
Outside of Tony Hawk's games, my skateboard knowledge is zero. Who are the guys in skating that?
There's this guy named Ben Kato, Rowan Zarilla. Dustin Dolan is like one of the all-time greats. Just like those people, I'll watch a skate video and that will get me hyped to have a match. Just because someone's pouring their heart and soul into it, and you can't fake falling down a 20 stair, and you just look at everything these guys are pouring their hearts into.
It fascinates me, Darby, because up to this point in time, I'd never put two and two together. Skateboards and like ramps and those big daredevil moments are all about flying in the air, and that's replicated in your style. I can't believe that I'd never put those two things together.
Yeah, I'm like in the middle of trying to film a skate video right now, a full-length video. I want about like 6 more tricks and my part's done. But it's so hard to balance the two worlds because, I think you've seen a taste of like the skating. Like I did that backflip for a promo onto the skateboard a couple of months ago. Things like that. I'm so passionate boarding and I want to represent it in the right light and not use it as a cash grab because there's fake ass people in wrestling, skateboarding, you know what I mean? So I want it like they see me, like the outside world, they'll see me ride down on a ramp on a skateboard and they're like, does this guy really skate? And I've had people like think that, and then they just like look at me like, oh dude, he actually cares about the world. And you go back and I've taken some gnarly slams on a skateboard. I've done some crazy things. So when I go into that ring, it's not me saying I'm crazy as a character. I've done some death-defying things in real life prior to wrestling and to this day for promos, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Mate, I've got to say, it's been so nice getting to do this chat today. It's so nice to find you so relatable and not just the person we see on Dynamite every Wednesday on TNT, but the person that you are. That's a fucking beautiful thing, Darby. Good luck Saturday at AEW Full Gear, and you're always welcome to come back anytime, Darby. Thank you so much for your time, mate.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. It's refreshing to do shows like this where people actually, sometimes people just ask, like, who's your favorite wrestler growing up? Why'd you get in the business? Like, who you trained by? And it's like the most, I don't mind repeating myself, but damn, it feels good to talk about something I actually care about.
Yeah, man. Well, you're a group, as a roster, like you're a group of people with all these amazing extensions of who you are. I look forward to chatting to yourself more and more people on your roster. Darby, take care and good luck Saturday, mate.
Thanks for having me, man.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Don't forget to like and share this video and join me on Twitch every Tuesday, Friday and Saturday for guest hangouts, new music votes, tier lists, band-specific competitions, weekly merch roundups and much, much more. That's twitch.tv/Mosh Talks. Find the link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and I'll see you on notfest.com for all of the latest news, features and much more from the worlds of rock, metal and beyond.